How's it going? You know who it is? Soul Tigress with a new moon in Aries and a full moon in Libra interpretation. So a lot of energy this month is asking us to be progressive and opening up to something new. Both of these signs are cardinal. So, beginning of season, as well as they're both positive masculine energies, which means some exploration, adventure, progress, and development is going to be needed this month for ourselves. So, the new moon in Aries has happened on March 29th this time around. And Aries represents the first house, emergence of self-awareness, how others see us, our image, and our outer personality. The planet that represents Aries is Mars, which talks about where we can best express our energy, but also where we are potentially able to express our conflict or have conflict. Now again, this is a cardinal fire sign. Now Aries is saying is I am. It's the birth of awareness. Aries' name represents or has been taken from the Greek god of war. Whew-wee, talking about this first house energy. So the Greek god Aries had an awkward relationship with his parents. They didn't care for him that much. Even his mother worked against him in the Trojan War. Now, what it seemed like was most expressed, or what I picked up on when it came to the Greek god Aries, was just like the conflicting view other gods, mortals had when it came to this Greek god. And even down to Zeus and Hera, who were his own parents. And it even said in some of the mythology, they just really didn't care for this kid. Go figure. You know, this isn't one of Zeus's love childs, and now they treat him kind of weird. That's not cool. I mean, he can't help he's a firecracker. He's a cardinal fire sign. But let's go ahead and continue. It's just a lot of, being either on one side or the other when it comes to things with this type of energy here in this first house. Aries energy is the balance of the good ego versus the bad ego when it comes to embarking on something new. Headstrong in the ways that we lead our lives. Conflict, war, sabotage are a few things that come along with this sign, as well as having a limited relationship with the things we wish would have been more nurturing. Now, this leaves us in a little bit of an awkward position, right? Leaving the Aries energy, having to embark on a lot of things on their own. One thing that can be hard for Aries energy is balancing the opinions of others. Just know some people will love you and some people will hate you. It's just the way it goes in life. And then I have this quote here I wanted to share with y'all that I've heard throughout years is, quote, not everybody has good taste in things, end quote. And that is the truth. What somebody really finds really fascinating, really good, whatever, may actually be something that's really disgusting to you. So really think about that. Aries new moon coming in after the Virgo's full moon, where we did some self-examination and improvement, comes in really good timing. Now this Aries new moon energy brings on a new self-awareness, which is we need to start what needs to be done, what needs to be planted when it comes to the seeds of self-empowerment, self-love, and where we want to be at in so many months, from now when it comes to this year. So with that being said, and talking about the good ego versus the bad ego. Now, everybody has the good ego, everybody has the bad ego, just like we all have light and dark in us. We have our light side, and then we have our shadow side. So with that being said, what I would describe the good ego as is being able to be flexible, adaptable, and open to things that come our way. And it could be even direct conflicts that come our way. Understanding that divine timing is always at work, and we are brought to this particular moment on our path for a reason. But it's up to us to learn from it. It's up to us to get up also when we fall. Now with the bad ego tends to close us off when we come into things that we have conflict with. Our bad ego is also us beating up ourselves mentally, emotionally, even spiritually. The bad ego doesn't have flexibility. The bad ego would deem that, oh, life's just this way for me kind of thing. And it's really hard to believe in yourself when you dwell in this dark side of the ego as well. So keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and talk about the full moon energy now, which is supposed to happen on April 12th. Now this full moon is known as the pink moon. So this is totally Libra energy, the 7th house. Now this is relationships, mates, business partners. And what we also have is relating to others. So Venus talks about relating to the things that we love. And again, we have a cardinal sign here, but instead of it being a cardinal fire, this one is a cardinal air. Do you know anything? When I translate our wands or our fire energy, that's compassion. That's a lot of passion, a lot of driven charisma right there. Now, when it comes to air energy, that's a lot of our mentality. That's our intuition at times. It's even our connection into our conscious self, our conscious of the way that the world can run at times with the bigger picture of things. Because if you think of air signs usually dwell up higher, being able to see a bigger picture, opposed to, like I said, the Taurus is also represented by Venus, who is here on the earth, always grounded. So two different views here. So let's talk about the goddess Astraea, which was a love child of Zeus's. Astraea was also known as the Star Maiden and the Starry One. She was known for purity, for justice, but also this was the last god to leave mankind when mankind became corrupt and wicked. So with that being said, sometimes Libra energy can show our stubborn side with things as well, and we can get really stubborn, especially if we are working with something or it involves something that we really care about. All right, so let's talk about that Libra energy. Libra energy is about balancing ourselves out, recognizing when it's time for us to go and when it's time for us to basically say enough is enough. It's not always up to you to change the community. It's up to you to make the changes for yourself to get you where you need to be. Libra energy will hang on to something even past the bitter end. Sometimes turning this something into holding on to a past that they could never change, a past that they wish that was more fair. Just like Scorpio energy, Libra energy is one where you get closer to yourself by the things you have gone through with others. Now, a lot of us I'm gonna raise my hand. A lot of us struggle holding ourselves back due to the opinions of others, with trying to prove to these others' opinions who we are, what we're doing, what we represent. Whew. But I mean, honestly, if mankind is wicked, if you're in a corrupt community and you're the only one who's trying to be fair and nobody is trying to do that with you, this could be something that could be damaging if you keep going and keep going, because all you're doing is taking from yourself. And you keep punishing yourself by, in a sense, putting yourself in this position, trying to make communities change. The goddess Estrella could not change mankind after they became wicked. And it took a minute for this goddess to recognize that. Keep that in mind. Both these signs represent a side to us that is hard to navigate. How do we move forward when it comes to dealing with others? Aries, who looked to his father for help, even for empathy, after his mother Hera sabotaged what he was doing in the Trojan War. Never having a close bond to either parent. To the Libra energy, Estrella, who didn't want to give up on the mortals she loved when mankind was going into wicked ways. How can we become aware that it's not always our fault how our communities view us? Nor can we save everyone from the corruptions that lead them. What we can do is save ourselves and recognize when it's time for us to step out and step in to our journey of getting to where we belong, a place where we want to be, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And I will tell you, I will confirm that it is a lot of social kind of energy here. When you talk about Libra and Aries energy, both of these signs are social. Both of these signs love hanging out with others. And this is why it goes back to us learning a little bit about ourselves, how to put ourselves forward, how to take care of ourselves, how to know when it's time for us to go, even when it's time for us to stay, kind of thing. And again, outside influences, a lot of outside influences will play into the decisions that we make, even if it means going against ourselves. Now, what's the name of the game? It's self-evolvement. We got that self-empowerment. Where do we want to go? We want to go up. We want to spiritually evolve here. But that comes through connecting with ourselves more. Our inner world and our outer world don't have to be always in battle with each other. We can have synchronicity and we can have flowiness between both. And I feel like here we're going to kind of start to do that a little bit this year with some of the things that we have been in conflict with. Especially, again, when it comes to others. Maybe even when it comes to us trying to save others. So, let's go ahead for a bonus message for this month. What is it that needs to come out? Ooh. Few things that's hard to see. One of them we're a little bit at odds ends. First thing is, it's a part of it. Gracefully aging. It takes time to learn things. We're not supposed to know all the answers to all the lessons that we're going to face right away. We're supposed to learn them along the way. And something that we don't see and that we're at odds ends with is a lot of it has to come at forgiveness. Forgiving ourselves. And I feel like that really speaks into that Libra energy of when we hold on to the past that we feel like we're unfair. Forgiving those past, forgiving ourselves, our mistakes. Again, it's a part of gracefully aging here. Us learning how to fly, how to spread our wings, how to soar farther and higher than before. But it takes time. It takes time and it takes practice. Just know not everybody's perfect. And this is a journey of seeking and finding. And it has to do with seeking out and finding yourself, connecting with yourself. Because what I say when you connect to this inner being, you connect to a higher power. And you know what? Not all hide and seeks are easy. Sometimes, when we're going and we're looking for that special treasure, the more work that we put into it, the more rewarding it is at the very end. And you know what? Life is an adventure. Life is a journey. Again, we're not supposed to be perfect. It's all about the memories that we create. Well, what about if they're bad memories? Well, then we're going to wake up to those memories. And we need to figure out why. What's going on? What is the conflict that we feel? Could it feel that we're down on ourselves and we don't really see that we are stronger? Because right here it's saying that you are stronger than you know. It takes time to pull your head out of the mud. It takes time. Don't let the memories that you hold on to, those memories past the bitter expiration date, detour you from seeking and finding the forgiveness. The forgiveness, which is the action that you're going to take to get to that win-win outcome. Why? Because you are stronger than you know. And it's a part of gracefully aging. Ooh-wee. And as I mentioned before, human behavior is always evolving. The way we used to act 10, 15, 20 years ago, 50 to 100 years ago, and so on, we don't act like that no more. We don't speak the same way like that anymore. We are constantly a species that is evolving. And I think that's where that flexibility in the good ego comes to play. Seeing that again, and I will say this many a times in many stories, that you are not the person you once were. You have grown from there. And sometimes when we grow from where we were, we tend to look back and be a little bit more critical on ourselves. That's not the case here. What we need to do is we need to look back with the wisdom we have now, and almost like understanding a child who didn't know better and just acknowledging that that's where you were at. And you didn't have the lessons that you've had since then until now to gain the wisdom that you have now. Again, that comes with time, that comes with getting older, that comes with the challenges. And it comes with that flowing with the challenges to find the lessons. So let's keep in mind to have an open mind to our conflicts this time, instead of barricading ourselves. If we can take some action of exploration, adventure, progress, and even development, again, we could have a win-win forecasted for us in finding that balance in our inner world when it comes to mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. All right. This is gonna conclude it. Thank y'all so much for hanging out for this new moon, full moon interpretation. And as always, don't forget to thank your angels, ancestors, spirit guides, as well as divine and universal energy for helping us along on our spiritual journey. And as always, I hope that you have a most wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.